Well, Patty, can you believe we are, less than 2 weeks or about a week from the new year?
I know, isn't that nuts?
It is crazy. And this episode is airing on Christmas Day.
Oh my goodness.
So I thought what we would do is look back at the year in review for
Okay.
Travels with Delaney.
All right,
In this episode of Travels with Delaney.
the podcast.
Hey everyone, my name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
Merry Christmas to you.
Happy New Year coming to your way.
If you're listening on the day it launches, it's Christmas Day. Otherwise, you may be listening to it a few days or a few weeks later. But
Yep.
at any rate, we hope you had a wonderful time
Yep.
with your family and friends.
Yep.
So today, Patty, we are going to talk about 2023
Yeah.
before the new year gets here.
Doesn't it seem like it just started?
I know. But before we do that,
All
it's
right.
time for another exciting round of This or That.
Oh no, I'm on the hot seat again.
You are on the hot seat again.
I'm like a baked potato.
So in 2023, Patty,
Mm-hmm.
we did not spend the entire summer traveling.
No, we did not.
So if you had to do it over, would you do exactly what we did, which was travel for 4 weeks but spend the rest of the camping season at Happy Acres, or would you have done what we traditionally do, which is to weekend camp and then spend 6 to 8 weeks in the summer on the road?
This I think is pretty easy. I think I would have done exactly what we had done.
All
I
right.
enjoyed the 4 weeks, and I enjoyed the time at Happy Acres. I think it was kind of like a breather because, sometimes we go pretty hard in the summer
Right.
for those 9 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever. And I think it was just a needed downtime. And plus, we had so much fun at the campground, and it was just a blast.
I would agree. I do not regret anything about last summer. One, we ended up using our RV so much more, being seasonal.
I think so. Well, plus that was the fun part too. We had a brand new rig, and
Yep.
we enjoy it. It's like a little apartment. It was so much fun hanging out in it. It's so cozy.
And then, and then we still were on the road. We still have to
Yeah.
travel for 4 weeks. Plus, we do our usual week at spring break on
Right.
the road. And now we're on the road for 2 weeks for Christmas. So, yeah, I think
I think it was enough travel.
I think so. We needed a break. I think we were wearing ourselves out after about 4 or 5 years of going out for 6 to 8 weeks in the summer and then trying to go right back to work.
It's a killer.
Yeah.
I just think my age is getting to me.
And I will say, an episode, I believe it's going to be 40, next week's episode, the New Year's Day episode, we're going to be talking about our plans for 2024.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
But before we get to that, let's look back on 2023.
All right.
Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about today was we had set a goal in the start of the year
Right.
that we would camp at least once every month in 2023. And by that, we just meant spend at least one night in the RV every month of the year.
Not in the driveway.
And not in the driveway. Yes, that was the one caveat. Did we complete that challenge?
We did. Yes, we did.
We did.
Absolutely.
So we did, and just to give you a quick recap of how we did it. In January, we were actually still in Florida and
Right.
traveling home at the start of the new year.
Because that's
So-
when my Christmas spring break is.
Yep,
So we
so-
had some time there.
Yep, so that counted as January. February, we did our traditional
Trip to Evergreen with our friends.
resort in Amish country over in Ohio. And then March,
Was spring break for me.
yep, we did spring break
Yep.
down in Hilton Head.
Yep.
And then in April, we moved the trailer over to Happy Acres
Yeah.
and spent the last weekend there.
Right.
And then obviously
May.
the summer's an easy one.
That's easy.
May, June, July,
And plus Maine's
August,
in there, New York's
September,
in there.
Yep,
Yeah,
October. We didn't leave Happy Acres till October.
Right.
Plus we had the trip to Ohio Pile in October.
Right.
November was
We went to Alum Creek, Columbus, Ohio, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep. And now here we are in Florida for December.
Holy moly.
So we did it. This is the first time we have had this. We have had this goal for like the last 3 years, and we have not been able to achieve it.
Yeah, one year, COVID hit.
Yep.
And different things happen. And
Yeah, 2020. We you're right, because we had done January, February,
and then COVID hit
and
March 15th,
and we had been out right at the start of March.
Yep.
But we couldn't get out in April because they had shut down campgrounds.
Right.
So
We did get back out at the end of
in May. Yeah.
And they started to open back up with, all that stuff.
And in 2021, we lost out, I think, right at the start, if I remember.
Wasn't it the weather?
We had the way, I think, if I remember right, the vacation our vacation ended. We were home before New Year's Eve,
Right.
and we were not able to get out in January because we took our RV over to Avalon to be serviced,
Yep. And it was
and
took
we
a
didn't get it
long
back till
time.
February.
Yep. So we missed
So we
January.
literally missed the first month,
Yep.
and so yeah, this is the first
Yeah.
time. So pretty exciting.
Woohoo!
All right,
We did it.
all right, so there you go. We made our goal, but
Yep.
let's talk about some other things.
All right.
Let's start with, do you have a biggest regret or mistake during the year that you felt like?
I don't know if it's. I don't know. And this one's kind of iffy for me because every time it seems like I love Maine, but there's a little bug in Maine that doesn't like me.
Oh, the brown tail moth.
Caterpillar thing.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about this, it's just a little moth, and it's just hanging out. And when the wind blows, its little quills go flying. You don't even see them. And some people are more susceptible that when those quills land on your skin anywhere, you get like a terrible rash, like poison ivy rash that itches horribly, and it'll spread and just it itches. And some people it lasts hour or two. Some people it lasts weeks. Well, me, I'm the lucky one. I've gotten it every single time we went to
Yeah.
Maine. I was only out in a wooded area because that's where they say to kind of avoid for maybe an hour. We took a little walk, and my goodness, it attacked me with vengeance. It's a ninja moth.
Yeah. In fact, I remember when you called telemed,
And the
they're
guy's
like,
like,
oh, not again.
yeah,
Like,
he's like, oh.
he saw your file.
Yeah.
And,
So luckily, the telemed helped me out, and they treated it like it always do, like it's poison ivy, and it does work. It just takes some time, and that's why when we travel with the colonel, he called me Itchy.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. That was your assigned name, Itchy.
But luckily, I had some stuff. I guess I was kind of prepared, but I wasn't. I thought this isn't
Right.
going to happen again, and it did. So.
I will say for me, my biggest regret and ultimately mistake was not reinstalling the stove oven into our lance before trying to sell it. I was, and I'll admit it, I was bullheaded and said, I'm not putting it back in if they want it. We had it. I mean, I kept
Right.
telling people we have it. If you want to put it in, you can. And ultimately, I think that it was about a $4,000 to $5,000 mistake, because I do believe, looking back, had I just installed it before placing the RV Trader ad, I think we would have sold it ourselves for probably 32 to 34,000, and and part of the reason I didn't want to install it because I thought if we install it and we don't sell it,
Then we got to uninstall it.
because that we didn't want it,
Yeah.
and we
We
had
didn't
gotten
need
so
it.
used to the system
Right.
we had. But in the end, we ended up trading it in and lost actually maybe closer to 6,000. I don't know. It's one of those things, hindsight, but I did learn a lesson. So
So anybody listening, we are not taking the stove out of the
no,
new
we are
rig.
not taking it out of the alliance. So.
It looks great.
And the thing was, we had saved it. And the funny thing was, in the very end, right before we took it down to Kentucky
Right.
to trade it in, I ended up reinstalling
Yep.
it for them. I did not hook it up because it still had that recall.
Right.
And it was so simple. And,
It was easy.
Costly mistake on my part.
Yeah, you and I did it.
Yeah. What about your favorite place that we visited in 2023?
I would have to say it was the Baird Farm visit when we went up on the mountain for the evening
yes.
dinner and sunset, and the weather just couldn't have been any better because it was just beautiful, and it was so nice to go up there with Mark and Karen and the Baird family, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, that's really top of my list. Is it was just a magical evening, gorgeous views, and hanging out with, Bob and Bonnie and Jenna from Baird Farm, and yeah, it was truly magical.
Yeah.
I would say maybe a close second, but not real close. But I tell you what, I actually really enjoyed going through Kentucknob,
That was interesting.
the Frank Lloyd Wright home over in Ohio Pile. And one of these days we're going to go back. I want to do Falling Water as well.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I was really going to enjoy it. I was like, why do I want to go look at a house that I'm not interested in buying?
Uh-huh.
But it was so unique.
It is.
And we
It's
still
awesome.
talk about
Yeah.
some of the features.
Right.
And I think the other thing was, it was just really nice. We got to hang out with our friends, Kim and Crystal and Jim and Abe. And so we did it together. And, I remember sitting in the little store having hot cocoa or coffee.
We had ice
and
cream.
Ice cream.
Yep.
And so I think that also made it special. All right, let's do this. How about your favorite restaurant or meal that you had?
Oh, this is easy. This is Maine. This is the Lobster Pot.
Oh, yes.
In Ellsworth, Maine.
Scallops.
Oh my gosh, everything was just so delicious, so good.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. That if you get to Ellsworth, Maine,
Oh, their scallops.
the lobster pot is outstanding.
Shrimps, crab cakes. I could go
I mean, they
on.
do lobster. We're not
I'm not
big
big
lobster
lobster,
fans.
but
We'll eat it, but it's not something we go out
our
of our way for.
friend Mark did, and he loved it.
Yeah.
Everything was just amazing.
I would say for me though, there was one that was really memorable and just
I could
fabulous,
think of another one.
and the Celador Winery.
That's what I figured you were going to
Yeah,
say.
when we took Mark and Karen for Mark's birthday to that chef's table
Hmm.
event deal, um, first of all, the pricing on it, I can't remember. Was it like $45?
I don't know, but
It
what you.
was a steal for what we
Hmm.
got, and it was like 4 or 5 courses for lunch, and you had the chefs explaining the food, and then there was wine pairing with it.
And then don't forget, the chef even went because we told them that our friend Karen is gluten free, and he went above and beyond and
Oh
made sure
yeah,
she had similar things to what we had, but it was something she could eat and enjoy. So that was
because we
amazing.
have noticed sometimes when Karen will ask about gluten free, the quick response is always we serve salad. You know,
Or steak
yeah,
or
yeah,
a
and
protein. Yeah.
or it ends up being what everybody else is. And in this case, they tried to keep it as close to the
Hmm.
original
Hmm.
so that she could experience what we were experiencing,
Yeah.
but without having.
Right.
So yeah, those I think those are both excellent. It's kind of ironic
Well,
that
and
they
we
were
even
both
went
in
back. We
Maine.
went there with the Colonel too, beef prior, but didn't have the food.
Yeah,
But yeah.
and you know what? I'm going to give an honorable mention to Captain Woody's
Oh yeah.
in South Carolina.
Yeah.
What
Mm.
town was that?
That's isn't that
Bluffton? Yeah,
Bluffton?
Bluffton, South Carolina.
That's
We ended
good.
up eating at Captain Woody's a couple times, and
There's shrimp.
the thing is, it's nothing fancy. It's
Mm-mm.
just a little, cute little
Bar
restaurant,
restaurant. It's
but the
nice.
seafood was
Yep.
outstanding.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
all right. Well, while we're talking about meals, let's go to
Okay.
the next thing. Which, how about a favorite campground or RV park that's not named Forest Ridge or Happy Acres? Because everybody knows we're going to say that. So, outside of that, was there a place where
My
we?
mind goes right to Hilton Head National. Was it RV Park
Yeah,
campground? That place was amazing.
yeah.
So posh, so fancy, so clean.
It was awesome.
The dogs loved it. The dog part
It
was
was a little
amazing.
pricey. I think we were paying about
Hmm.
$120 a night. But if you're looking for that glamping
Hmm.
experience, it definitely was that. And it's a great location, just miles from Hilton Head
Or the
Island.
beach, yeah.
Yeah,
If you
and
wanted that,
yeah,
yeah.
and,
We didn't need to leave the park because at this time of year, this was like March, spring break. We're tired of working. We're tired of the cold, and you could just walk up to the pool. You could walk up to the bar. You could get in the lazy river. You could go for a walk. It was just awesome.
And I remember we had planned to go to like the beach
Uh
every
huh.
day. We went once and ended up, we're like, let's just go back
Let's
because
just go
the
back.
beach was so crowded. And we ended up going back and sitting by the
Yeah.
pool.
Hmm.
And I will also throw in there, we are currently staying at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort.
Mm.
And Disney's Fort Wilderness
Awesome.
Resort is absolutely awesome as
Beautiful.
well. It is not cheap,
It's a
folks.
splurge.
And we will have a whole episode coming
Yep.
up in the new year where we talk about our stay and that type of thing. But it's definitely right up there with Hilton Head
Hmm.
National
Oh
Golf
yeah.
and RV.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
let's talk purchase. Did
Ooh.
you buy something this year where it was just where you're like, oh yeah, I'd buy this again?
Oh, absolutely. My mind goes right to Serendipity, the little consignment shop in Camden, Maine, my Bulgari bag.
Yeah.
You actually got it. You had an eye, you got it,
Right.
looked at it, and you're like, what is this? I'm like, I think that's a fancy brand. And we did some research.
Well, here's the thing: you're in a consignment or thrift
Uh-huh.
shop or whatever, and it's
It's a
at two
boutique,
hundred
yeah.
and fifty dollars, and I'm like, okay, like the Coaches, the Kate Spades, all of those name brands were like 50,
Duningberg,
60
yeah.
bucks.
Hmm.
So I'm like, there's something about this. And then I took it over. I said, Patty, do you know this? And she said, oh yeah, that's Bulgari. I'm like, well, all right. So I said, I wonder if it's legit. So I remember I went up to the
Uh-huh.
register,
Uh-huh.
and the gal said, like, you're the first person that's even asked, and most people don't even know what it is. And I remember she said, look,
It's
I,
from the 90s.
it's
It was
it's vintage, and it's been in here. So she's like, I can make you a deal.
Uh-huh.
I think she knocked like $50 off. They
Yep.
were asking 250. And Patty kept saying, don't buy it. That's too much money. I knew she wanted it, so I bought it. And
And what do I use it for?
she uses it as her school bag, and
I love it as my school bag.
it works pretty well, I believe,
It's
right?
awesome. It has so many pockets and space for everything that I need to carry to school. And I've had comments at school like, "Your bag is gorgeous," but no one really at my
Wonder what we
school.
could sell that for in your eBay store.
Are you kidding
Well, I'm
me?
just saying. And by the
Back
way,
away from the Bulgari,
all
man.
right, we won't sell it, but if you didn't
That
know,
boy.
Patty has started a
Yeah.
resale shop on
I
eBay.
got a little side gig going
Yeah,
on
Patty.
there.
She also has her own YouTube channel
Side
now.
hustle here.
You can find her on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as her shop on Poshmark and eBay. They're all under Patty Ann Fashion.
Yeah.
So I'll try to link some of those down in the show
Well, you're
notes
not
if
putting
anybody.
the Bulgari and
No,
Patty and
but there will not be a Bulgari for sale.
no, no, no.
Now, my purchase was about half the price of yours.
Right.
And I have to tell you, when I bought these, I was thinking
You were a little
I was
skeptical, I
very
think.
I was very hesitant.
You were. You about didn't buy them.
I think we went one day and I didn't buy them, and we ended up going back a week or two later
Yep.
to the LL Bean store
Outlet, yeah.
or outlet, yeah.
In Ellsworth.
And I bought a pair of bean boots, but they're not boots. They're the, what do you call them, like clogs or slip-ons?
Yeah, they're clog. The bean clog.
So they look like a
slip-on.
bean boot, but they don't have the leather coming up the
Right.
side.
You can just slip them on real quick.
And the reason we bought, Patty had already owned a pair.
The boots.
And
Yeah.
did you buy your slip-ons this summer?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, I thought you already
did.
had them.
No.
And I think they were about $100 at the outlet.
Which is awesome price.
And I was just like, I don't know if I'm ever going to use these. And Patty kept saying, no, when we take the dogs out, because it was so muddy when we were in Maine. It
rained
yeah.
all the time.
She's like, because I was going out in my slippers and they were getting destroyed. And so I purchased those thinking all I'm ever going to use them for is on rainy days to slip them on. I actually wear those things now.
You wear them a
I
lot.
wear them all the time.
They are comfortable.
They are more comfortable than some of my dress shoes.
Uh-huh.
And so like yesterday we were out thrifting for Patty.
Yeah.
All day long I had my bean shoes on.
I think they're so comfortable, and I just love them. You slip them on, and it's easy for taking the pups out, or if you got to go to the mailbox, or just going
Right.
around if it's a rainy, wet day, whatever. And they're warm too.
Yeah, best and like this winter to take the dogs out with
It's
the
so
snow.
awesome, and they have a good grip on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, that was clearly worth every dime
Every
now.
penny.
Like I'm so glad you talked me into those. All right, so let's wrap this
I
up.
know my shoes.
We're going to start with the low moment of the entire year. We always like to do our
Okay.
high moment and our low moment. Well, let's start with the low
This
moment.
low moment, I think, is both of our low moments, and I know you were about ready to vomit, and I was ready to vomit, and luckily we had a very mellow friend that helped us get through it.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Mark Milinarski, I don't know what we would have done.
And Miss Karen kept putting sunscreen on me because she was
Yeah.
worried I was going to get burnt. But when the AC got taken off the top of the rig by accident at that gas station in Vermont,
Yeah.
who didn't have markers on it. But I keep thinking about this. We were able to get in, but we couldn't get out without ripping the AC off. And I think it's just the way we came in on the side because the top was like a triangle shape. And then there was low-hanging, like, wood structures on the corners. It was a mess.
Yeah, that was definitely my low moment for the
Uh-huh.
year. You're right. I just felt like I was going to throw
I
up.
thought you were going to throw up.
I mean, it was just because it was a brand new rig.
Yep.
I had been so cautious the
Yes.
entire trip. So it wasn't like I was being
No.
careless. I mean, there's times where I've done things where it's like, well, it's my own fault.
Well, we were just so cautious with that rig and
Yeah.
trying to do the right thing and turns and hills and dips and all this stuff. And wow.
Yeah. So, but you know what? We're fine.
We
We
got
got the new
through it.
AC. And honestly, I'm not sure we would have met Myron without
Yeah,
that happening.
I think it actually, it
It ended
sounds
up-
weird, but it worked out.
It actually sometimes things happen for a reason.
And we have an awesome new friend named Myron.
That's right. Mom always used to say God has a plan for all of us.
And I think
And-
he was trying to teach us too to pay more attention. And plus, I think we have Myron now.
Yeah, I mean, he led us to Myron through
Yeah.
my, mistake.
And Myron is
And if you're listening and you have no idea who Myron is, if this is your first time, Myron owns Landstar
There you
RV
go.
Services here in Northeast Indiana. He works full time at a major RV manufacturer during the day, but on the nights and the weekends, he has his own little
got a side gig.
side gig, and he does RV repairs and modifications
Yep.
and maintenance for us.
And he is so good. He's so technical.
He's
very
he's-
worried about specific details and how it looks when it's done, and that's awesome.
I mean, honestly, my next question is our high moment.
Yeah.
And if honestly, finding Myron, and I'm being serious here,
Yeah.
is not what is on my highest moment, but this is real close, right
Yeah.
behind.
Uh-huh.
But finding Myron, because you guys have well, you probably do if you're an RV owner.
It's so hard to get work
It's so
done
hard, and to have somebody in our backyard who will come out to the campground or
and
come to
check
our
it out for
house.
you and give you thoughts and help
He's
you
he's
out. And
affordable, and he does good work, and again,
he's
that's just such a
reliable.
blessing that,
When he says he's coming, he's coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Whether it's 90 million degrees outside or it's cold.
right.
Yeah.
So that leads us to, but he's a close second for my
Uh-huh.
high moment of
Uh-huh.
the year. I'll
Go
let
ahead
you
with
go.
you want to do your high or me?
No, you go ahead.
My high I'm going to go with it's a group from Ukraine and Russia called Leonid and Friends. And we started watching them on YouTube, I guess, last spring. And they are awesome. They are a cover band for Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire and Blood, Sweat, and Tears. They are just so amazing. You found tickets for them at a local town here called Shipshewana, and they were awesome. They were touring the United States, and that was so cool. I'll always remember that. That was amazing.
That's number 3 on my list, right behind my number 1, Myron, and then yeah. I mean, honestly, I just was one day looking, and I was like, oh my God, you're coming to Shipshewana, which was like 45 minutes, and so I bought tickets for Patty and myself and Angie and Kevin. They went with us. And I'll tell you what, if you ever get a chance to see Leonid, if you like Chicago, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, if you get a chance to go see them, they are
And they're
phenomenal.
taking on the Carpenters. I
Oh
mean,
my
who
gosh.
takes on Karen Carpenter?
Yeah, and does it
Ksenia does
Yeah.
from Leonids, and
as
it
well.
is amazing.
It's crazy. So, yeah, that was a good. That's really a
And this high
positive.
moment you're going to talk about was also it's an
Yeah.
awesome moment for me.
For
But,
me,
but
it was
you,
really personal. My high this year was getting to travel with my aunt and uncle. Some of you who follow our YouTube channel, you know Colonel Woody and Aunt Priscilla, and he reached out in, I think it was last spring, and said, "Hey, what's your travel plans?" Because we were looking for something to do in the summer. I said, let's go RVing, and so we talked
and they
him
didn't
in.
own an RV at the time.
No, we talked him into renting a Cruise America,
Oh
and we
yeah.
spent, I think it was 10 days,
Right.
9 or 10 days together. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun.
Yep.
And like that meant so much to me to get to travel with my uncle and my aunt, and the fact that we get along so well.
Oh, it was easy travel.
Oh yeah, I
It
mean
was so much fun.
we just it's that's the thing. Sometimes that might be a whole episode
Right.
if I was talking about traveling with other people.
Yeah.
But I'll just say it was amazing, and it gets better because they used to own a Class A years
Right.
ago, and after renting that Class C this summer, they got the bug. They now own a fifth wheel
And a new truck.
and a new truck,
I call it Budget Buster.
Budget Buster. And so they are joining us for a week here in Florida.
Yes.
And so we're going to get to do a lot more traveling. But that was definitely my high, getting to spend
that was a lot of
quality
fun.
time with
Yeah.
family. Just
Yeah. Even though they blew a tire.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. But that was
Well,
that was
it's been quite a
interesting.
year, and I
Yeah.
would say it has been a great year. We didn't even talk because I didn't want to talk about Forest Ridge or Happy Acres, but
Oh, those places are awesome.
can I just say we have great friends,
Yep.
Jeff and Lynn up at
Take
Forest
care of
Ridge
us
in
all the
Maine.
time.
And if you're looking to go to Acadia, definitely
It's a
look up
beautiful
Forest
spot.
Ridge. They will
Mhm.
take great care of you. And then you know what? I use the word blessed, but to have Angie and Kevin Kozik come into
And
our
you think about
lives,
2 years ago, we didn't even.
we didn't know them,
No.
and now we consider them good friends. And they are the owners of Happy Acres Campground here
And
in
don't
Angola.
forget, I just lost the dogs. They're
Oh,
pups.
yeah, Dexter and Jane. So anyway,
They're
great
pups
year,
now.
and looking forward to
Yeah.
24. Next week, we will talk about what 2024 is going to look
Yep.
like. All right, Patty, until next time, we'll see everyone.
On down the road.
Bye.
Bye.
Travels with the lady. We'll see you on down the road.